guys, welcome back to my art studio. My name is Beatrice Ajayi. I'm an artist based in Glasgow in Scotland, and here I love to share what I get up to in my studio. I like to share what my inspirations are, my subject matter, and I love to use a whole range of mediums. So if this is your first time here, welcome. Nice to meet you. And if you're returning, thank you so much for spending your time with me. So let's get into what I've got for us to do today. I have some samples of artwork I have on my desk here that I have been painting, and I just wanted to continue on that and to share the process with you. So this piece was an abstracted piece that I had, and I have basically just added some oil paint on this lower area here and covered some of the details that was down here, and then I have the bird kind of merging out of this drip-like background, which was an acrylic layer. So I am still looking at what I can do, because I have like a tree branch that the bird is sitting on. So there's another area here that I'd need to highlight. So I need to think about what I'd want to bring out in this piece. So I'm just looking over at my screen that I have there to make sure that this is in the picture, but you can see the oil paint reflective there, and the areas that are oil paint, and then the bits that are not reflective are the acrylic paint. But I have like a range of templates there that I can start working on to build layers. These are two that I have been working on for a little while, and I'm adding to them almost daily and building those characters out of that. So I've got them here on the desk. I've got another piece here that I'm also working on. So I'm trying to do a whole range of them at the same time. I'm trying to build up my catalog for my original artwork. So I'm feeding off the colors of each of them and getting ideas and really trying to play around with my paint and enjoy the different effects that I'm creating. At the moment for this bird, I have, I'm trying to do its beak facing this way, but I'm really tempted to point it upwards. So I'm going to change this around, I think. This is another one of the templates I have just in my collection back there that I am going to be using to paint some more pieces. And this I have here, my tool for cleaning, which isn't very clean itself, to see if I need to get rid of some of these paints on my palette. I'm just going to check and see what is still wet on this and what isn't, and then I'll try scraping things off. So I'm just using this tissue for any excess oil paints that I want to get rid of if they're still wet, and then I will scrape. But I think I can scrape most of this off. Let's see. Oops. Okay, right, let's just do this. So I'm just gonna start doing this. So these are the fun things that I'm doing here in the studio, is just basically getting on with it. I've been wanting to use oil paint for a while, and I thought I should share that with you guys today. So that is what I'm doing. And some people do use, like, I think, is it alcohol, isopropyl, I can't say that word, but they use alcohol to clean this off. But I'm just going to scrape, because that's what I'm going to do. Scrape it off. So, and then use some of the tissue to clean that off. My little scraper tool. That's basically what I've been doing, but I think I need to soak this in some other cleaning agents to get rid of the oil paint. I'm just going to try and put this back on. It's as clean as I'm going to get it. I'm fine with the way it looks. I have to be really careful with this because it could slide up and hit my hand. So it's going to be precariously put back on. I'm not going to force it. And put it to the side. Right, let's get into painting what it is I have today. And just take my time with it. So I wanted to, as I was saying, maybe make the beak come out a different way here. So I have some brushes here that I've been using, and Yeah, I was just gonna check to see that my camera's on. It is on. I have it projected to a screen to my monitor so that I can make sure I can see what it is I'm painting here on my actual surface. So I want to make the beak come out here. Probably need to get more detailed brushes. I'm just looking around to see if I can see a finer tipped brush, but I'm gonna use this round brush anyway. So I'm just gonna add a color that I think would make it that way. I don't know why I thought up. Let's see if I can do up and see what that looks like. So I'm using some quick dry medium here. I was using this one, which I've got paint on, but I was using this one by Cobra, which got some oil paint on it. But what I'm going to be doing is I'll be opening this newer one I got recently from Dale and Rowney, and I'll see what it's like. Hopefully it will be still good at drying it the way that I've got already, and it won't do something strange, but I will test it out and see. So I am just basically feeling my way through these paintings. I am not stressing myself out about details. And so this area here, I mixed a brown yesterday, and I'm trying to remember how I did that. So it was with some of the red. I feel like it's some of the blue as well. Yeah, that's what it was. Something like that. Red and the blue. So I want to use up the paints I have on my my palette and then go into other areas. So it's basically just to make this darker, and I'll build some more layers. So I've added a beak to this, and I will be adding more. Yeah, I need to add some more to this palette actually, white. So I'm dipping a little bit in my drying medium, quick drying medium, to add a little bit of hopefully a drier. My brush is like so rustic, oh my gosh, but I'm still using it. So rustic. And I'm adding extra layers into this painting. So let's see how it goes. I want to add some more to the head. It's like I'm not cleaning my brush. I don't know if that's a good thing or not, but I just like to just go from one color to another, unless I'm being very specific. Like if I wanted it to be dark, I really shouldn't have gone from these two like this, but there you go. So I'm putting in some darker colors. It's a lot of fun doing this and working on pieces and seeing what you can create. And the layers. I've got more paints I need to put out. So let's see. What I want to, I think maybe in this area here, what I want to do is add some more, actually not add some more white. I think I need to scrape some more paint away actually. So I feel like the blues are, like in this area, most of them are gone. So I need to scrape some more away. But I'm gonna add some more white. I think that's what I'll start off by doing. If I can find my white here on my, so blue as well. I could use the blue, start a whole new part here. I think as I'm looking at this, I want some other areas to be dark. So I wanted to maybe take some of this away, but maybe not. Maybe a tiny bit away. But then it would be like with a blue. Oh yeah, I wanted a white. Let me just see. This is kind of how I meander through my painting experience. There's a white. it's just to have fun, play. So as I said, I am using oil paint for this. So I mostly paint in acrylics, but I wanted to start painting with some more oil paints. And with acrylic painting, if you know as an acrylic painter, obviously it dries faster. So in order to appease myself, I have been trying to add the drying mediums to it as a bit of an incentive, and also working on like a huge number of pieces at the same time, like a huge number of pieces. And then also like really playing, not thinking too much about any rules apart from that, you know, thin, like fat over lean conversation is just to do whatever I want, just to play, make designs, patterns, play. And then I can always cover it over, so I am very happy with that. But I think for this session I will do mainly like a lot of music and just painting quietly. And I've been trying out this format now for the longer version with you guys here on the channel on the weekends, and I'm not sure of how it's going. My views and things are not as high as I'd like them to be, so I'm still thinking if I will add other varieties in between the whole experience of this. So we will see. But yeah, as I was saying, I'll probably add music for mainly the rest of this. If I think of anything else that I want to add as I'm going, I will do that. But I am just trying to play around with the colors, subtleties in the piece, and just relaxing into this. There is like a lot of the blues. So this blue, I'm just gonna check, what is this blue called? It is it, where is the name for this? Right, here we go. It is King's Blue. So that is what I'm currently using to mix in with the white here. I don't know if it's reflecting correctly for you to see that, but this is what the painting looks like. Let me just bring it closer. So this is what I'm painting, and I'm adding to areas like up here, this blue. Let's see, what other areas can I add so you can see. So it's like if I added into this area in the red. So some of these are still wet and they just blend in. I'm being very relaxed with my oil painting. I don't want to stress myself. I'm just experimenting, but I really love the way that certain areas are coming out. And yeah. So with the blues, I'm just adding, and it's not that easy to see because it's quite reflective, but you can see the overall, you know, character, this bird in here, and I'm going to keep working on the detail on its eyes and trying to pull some areas out. So they slowly change the more you spend time on them. And I'm just trying to think about mark making as I'm going along and really just hoping that all my marks will make a difference on this. So this is kind of the abstracted way it's going. I feel like I'm going to cut into this beak a bit more here, possibly. But yeah, just learning how it's working with the colors is a lot of fun. So I'll put this aside because I've added a little bit to it, and I am going to go on to some of the other pieces I have here. So I think I wanted to make this stick out a little bit here, so I feel like this would be too light, but let's try it anyway. I am adding a line of oil paint for the area I think should be the tree. I should probably just mix more of this and go over that slightly. We'll see in a minute. So I'm just kind of scumbling this. Then I will look in my view and see what this looks like. So as I said, if you're just joining it, my name is Beatrice Ajayi. I'm an artist based in Glasgow in Scotland, and I love to share what I get up to in my studio here on the channel. And if you check back to other videos I've got here on the channel, I work in a range of mediums: acrylics, collage, with woody pencils, with a variety of different mediums. And currently I am working in oil paint. And just playing around with the medium and adding different details. Trying to think what other color I could bring in here, because it's got like pinks in there. I'm just gonna touch this red slightly and see what I can do with it. I don't think it's a pink. It's more of a reddy pink. So see which side I'm gonna put this on. So I'm using the quick drying medium and mixing it in there. And I like these dots, so I don't really want to do much with that. I like the pink on that side. Let's see if beside the dot I've put like the pink, warm pinkish color, and dragging it with the brush. I don't want to cover that too much. I'm going to wash my brush off, and I like this design that's here. I'm really thinking that I'm not going to cover up all of the acrylics. So let's see if I can show you what this looks like on this piece. So I really like the way this is looking, and I'll probably work on the bird a bit more and make it a lot more subtle. Or not do much to it. I like the way the bird is. It's a very subtle piece. I'm really enjoying this, actually. And these are boards that I've created a while ago and I painted on, and I really like the way that this looks. And basically the background was abstract and I just splashed paint on it and did whatever. And now I'm trying to see about this tree. It's not as clear as it could be. I think it's too blended in, because this is supposed to be a branch. So I need to take this color, I think, and put it on this side and see what that looks like. It's going to affect it quite a bit because I should technically wait till it dries, but I'm going to see what would happen if I didn't wait and mixed in the color. So cleaning up my brush and some of these rags. This color I think was mixed with a white and a yellow and some red. So let's take some of that. And there's still some of this white here and a bit of red touch. And I'm gonna get some of this. Right, this is the drying medium, so I've mixed that in. It's very thin in comparison to what it could be, so I'm always conscious of that. A bit more of the red, some more white is probably gonna go into this. Let's use up what I had there. So I'm looking at the color and it is very different. I have some orange in there. All white. It's very different, I think. It's a lot lighter of the orange. So I'm just going back and forth. So I'm going to carry this over. And try and figure out how I am going to so if that shows up a bit more, it's very subtle, so just one pass. So this has changed this a lot. It wasn't like this. And I'm just checking my screen to see what it looks like. So I'm just going to blend this into this going up. And I'm looking at this side. I want this branch to also be very prominent. So what I like with oil paint is one pass over whatever the color is underneath. I shouldn't be repeatedly rubbing it unless I want to blend it, which is what I was doing over here. This, I'm coming back into this slightly. See, do I want to add some more? I like the variation in here, variety. But yeah, so this is like a landscape, and playing around with that whole idea of not wanting things necessarily to be realistic, but to give a structure that looks like it's telling the same story, like the same story of a landscape. So this is a landscape, this bird is in this landscape, and it's just very interesting. I really love the abstract qualities of it, and I love the fact that it's coming through in its chest here. So yeah, that is the fun play of things with that. So I'm really enjoying the way this one looks. And then I'm gonna leave this alone for some days and I'll keep looking at it. And there's obviously other areas I'd like to do more with the bird, but I'm gonna let these layers dry and then, well, dry a little bit more to touch dry. So let's set that up there. So these two I've been working on, and what I've been doing is when I've got the colors, I'm just passing those colors on to other areas of other paintings and building on the layers. So this one has, let me just show you, some warmth in it. There's some areas of warmth here as well, and I've put some here the other day, and I want to kind of make it like a floral landscape. So I'm building different colors into it and just moving my brush around, tapping it so that I get some more floral element. As I said, like just one pass in it. Similar colors in the, you know, in the areas, and it will give it more interest. So that's the little amount I put there. And I'll try the same for this next one as well. So working on these smaller pieces is allowing me to get my quick fix that I would usually get working with acrylic paint, because then I feel like I am accomplishing a lot more with my time. As I said, just playing around with the color. So it's very reflective, but I'm just showing you how I'm adding to this. And I can scratch into these as well, so I'll give you an example of that in a minute. So what I'm doing is that I want some areas to be dark around the bird, but then also I want to have the floral element. So, and sometimes I'll carry the colors in, then I might add a different color into this as well. There was something, yep, scratching into it. So I could use the back of my brush like I do with my acrylic, and then I try to bring in like a floral element to it. So I do scratch into it. Some of the areas. I don't want to scratch into all of it. I do scratch into it. So I'm adding another element into the pieces and then letting them dry. So I'll put this away and I will look at another bigger one. So that's 4 I've looked at already. This is another bigger piece that I was working on the other day. These are all sometimes still wet in certain areas, but looking at this, I'm trying to think what else I could add to this. I might make the areas around it darker. I did scratch into this as well, so there are some areas that have like, see if I can get that clearer. Yep, like these bits here are scratched like plants into it. This area here as well. I could just try and build on the way that the bird looks. Like I love the flower there, that is really nice. And then I've added another one lower down here. So the wing probably feels very short to me. I might add another wing. I don't know, I'll play around with this a little bit as well. So I'm trying to use different brushes, big, small, different ones. And to take my time, I shouldn't rush myself on this. So what was it I was trying to do? Like making some areas darker. And that's usually with the blue and purples. So these areas I might start letting dry off because it's very congested. Let's put this over here because there's a blue. So I'm trying to also use up some of my older oil paints as well that I've had for a while so that I can throw them away. I mean, throw the containers away and make sure I've not wasted them as well. So just squeezing this out, it's taking a bit of time. Right, it's a deep violet purple color. I'm gonna dig the rest out with my brush. Messy, so I'll put that there. Then I can throw this away. So I'm gonna mix this with some of the drying medium. It's like a purple. This brush might actually be on its way out. I'm sure it had longer bristles. This came with the actual Cobra oil paint pack, so I am still using it. So this is a purple, putting it in, and starting to deepen some of the colors. So also working on a little at a time in the different pieces helps me not to rush things. So I am a lot more patient than I would be because I am painting with these processes. So trying to think if I should zoom in closer for this, for myself even as well, so that I can see a little bit what it is I'm doing. I need to make this bird's eyes darker. So sometimes I go back to go forward, so I feel like there needs to be some shadow in its beak, and it looks like it's cutting it a little bit, but let me see if I can nope, zoom in. Right, let's go back out and see if I can zoom. I probably need to move these away so that I can have a better placement of this. Let's put this down before I paint my hair. Right, so I will move that closer. That's better. So let's see, I can see that this beak, I'm trying to put shadow down here. Working on these flat as well is an interesting challenge. I do sometimes work with them on an easel. But you can go into a painting and it looked one way and you totally change it by the time you go back into it. So that beak has changed exponentially from what it used to be. So I've got some white on my leaf now, so I mean on my brush. So I'm trying to think what to do with this purple violet I've got on my brush. Just gonna add some plants here. So I'm trying to pick the areas that I do this because then it'll be more dramatic. Adding that color in. So carrying this around, this color around. Up here. So it's kind of moved around. It's not necessarily that it is that obvious. I'm learning to wash my brush a lot more as well now, so that I can spend time doing things, moving around. I'm gonna use this filbert brush, which I want to go into these flowers here and pull some of that out as well, though I feel like this wing, I feel like I need to push. There's something about the way the bird is that is putting me off. I don't know if this tail needed to be a bit more cut into. I think I'm just going to do some very bold moves. It won't look like it makes any sense, but I'm being challenged to do it. So I'm going to do it. So I'm trying to use as much paint as possible. On this. So I feel like I want to cut into this area because there's just something about cut further. I feel like these characters are very abrupt individuals. So his wing I felt was too short. So I'm going to cut into that a little bit. I think maybe even into his head a little bit. So I've cut too far there probably. And sometimes this is what I'll do, is go in heavy with a different color, starting to reshape something. So the head, that might be cut into a little bit more. Petal. So this is where you just start using your own subtle thinking and just doing things. I'm trying to think about this wing. I think I want to put another bit going out. Another wing. So another wing, and then what else do I want to do with this? This is like cutting into the blues. Add in different elements and marks. So just playing around with this. So let's see. Add in some feathers in here. Trying to look at this and see how I want to cut this. I'll be back in that. Just wash this off, and I'm thinking I want. So I'm looking at the colors all the time and trying to think, what do I want to change in this? Bring it in some more greens. Bring it in some more details in the yellow. So let me just see the smaller brush. Cleaning that off. So I think I might want to bring some more details in, some more color into this character. Some of the yellow, the lemon, kind of lemon yellow with some of the white. So mixing that in and starting to add to my character, and it's gonna get a lot brighter now because of that, because I'm gonna build the colors. And its little tummy, I feel like it's gonna go out a little bit more. I just see this character as glowing and being very bright and effervescent. I can't say that word. Very bubbly character. So add in some of the yellow, and then I might change some of the colors of the yellow. I'll add a bit of the warm yellow in there and start to change that, making it brighter. Right, let's see, there's something here I can see I want to take away. There's sometimes I get the bumps and I don't want it in a certain place. So I'm gonna add some more greens into this as well, like some glowing greens. So I'm looking at its tail. My idea is to have like a bird that's like a jewel, like jewelry. I don't know, that's the way I kind of envision my birds. It's like they're jewels. And so just, I need a thinner brush, so I'm gonna have to do that at some point. Like a thinner brush than this. This is too thick for some of the detail that I want to have. So I'm looking at the tail and I don't want it to be just exactly perfect. It's doing what I'd like it to do. So showing movement, and now I'm thinking of what I want to add blues. So that's now made a green. So bringing that in, I want some more bluey greens. This is a very light green. This is not doing, well, it's doing something, but I want more. So it's just to have variety. What I could be doing with this as well is having a picture in front of me of actual birds as well, which will help me get inspiration. So as I said, I'm scratching into it. I can put more details of the feathers. I'm just going to do the bare minimum, showing the lines at the moment. As I said, it's adding a little to the piece each time. So I am not looking at doing anything excessive in this. I want some more jewels of the greens and the blues up there, but what I'm going to do is go into the flower. I want to bring that out a little bit more in the flower. So bring out some more white in the flowers, and also to bring out, see, a bit warmth in some bits, to bring out like some of the reds and orange in the middle. So variety. Let's see. So a bit more of this, a bit of this. So let's see. Just trying to be free with some of these movements. I don't want to think too much about some things. So, let's see. So this is popping forward quite a bit. This area here, making this a bit more prominent, this white one. This, I'm trying to think, pink, bit of pink in there, bit more white. Right. And then some dots here. So you can see it starts to get really exciting the more you add to things. I wanted to carry this pink around there and maybe some dots up there so it's a bit more lively. I'm gonna go into my orange and start mixing it into the same area, a bit more of the quick drying gel, or medium I should call it. This is like a peachy color. Let's go into the flowers and see if this starts to add extra dimensions to this. And here as well. This is actually already right, let's see. And then just carrying this peachy color into other areas. Again, let's see, like these kind of orange corners. So when you see a color, I just put similar colors beside those, like here, and move it around a bit. So this is what we've got so far from what we had earlier, is just playing around with it. The bird has got more in its feathers. It looks much more spikier. I mean, I don't know, but the bird looks like it has more attitude than what it had before. So whenever I see my pieces and I spend more time on them, it just gets a lot more fun, and we really can pull out the character in the background. And I mean, pull out the character itself, like the bird is the character here. The flowers, I wanted it to look floral because that is part of what its food is. That is part of what feeds the bird. And I've been saying recently on my different platforms about the inspirations I get and why I have all those characters in there. I really love hummingbirds. I love kingfishers. I love owls. Those are, I think, are my main birds that I like to paint. They're exotic, they're interesting. That's the hummingbirds. Kingfishers you get anywhere, and then the barn owl is focused in Scotland and England and the UK area, and tying all of that together with the tropical and locally where I stay is like, it's just so much fun. I wish we did have hummingbirds around here. I love watching birds. That would be so exciting. But yeah, I brought this out a little bit more. So I think working on this and looking at some of my other pieces, I still need to add a bit more to them, because between this piece and like this one that I was working on earlier, different approaches I suppose, but I I'm excited by this piece. And this kind of is where I would take this eventually. I would need to find something that would make it spark. So one thing I'm noticing is that my background is dark around the bird, so it pulls it out and I can see it and I can appreciate it, and I love this approach. But for this one, it's a lighter background. So the challenge is to make this bird stand out. And the thing is, then for the birds that I create, I want more color in it. So this bird is going to change a lot. It might end up being an actual kingfisher or something. I don't know. Something needs to change to bring it out. Also, the flower wise as well, what I'm noticing is that I like these abstracted pieces and then pulling out, like, you know, some of these characters. But to have this dominant flowers seems to throw me off quite a bit. So this is what, you know, working on my pieces, I start to learn the more that I spend time in them. So I'm really thinking that I will be changing this piece quite a bit. And that's part of the conversation and the journey. And yeah, working in oil paint is so much fun. And letting this dry, and then I've got some mounts or mats that I bought that I can frame this with and put that in the shop. So much fun working on these. Thank you so much for joining me today. I wanted to share this process with you. I've worked on this a little bit to bring it to where it is, and I hope you enjoy that process. I have more details on what else I'm getting up to in my description, and please do subscribe if you haven't so far. I love to share these times with you guys here, working away in the studio on different art pieces. So the same thing, I'm going to be working on like the other art pieces I have, the ones I was sharing before, the other little hummingbirds, and take them to this kind of place as well. Add some extra flowers to them. Let me pick one up to remind you of what I'm talking about. So like this one here that I've been working on, I am going to be taking it to a place where, like I said, look at the background. It is darker and this little character is sticking out a bit more. And I've just remembered as well that they have little feet that I can add to this as well. So pull this one out the same way I've pulled this character out, and make him exciting as well. And then add probably little florals like this one into this detail as well, and the background, and just make it richer and richer as I go along. And really enjoy mark making as well with the pieces. So as I said, I worked in oil paint for this session, which I don't usually do. I usually work with acrylics here on the channel, but I wanted to share this with you to see how my oil process is going as well. So I change it up. I change it up in the channel because I want to not be bored, and because why not? These are the mediums available to us as creative people, so I want to be able to use them. I don't want to be restricted in my creative journey. So I encourage you to try different mediums up. I have found a way of simplifying how I use the oil paints for myself, and not to be afraid of the so many mysteries that are involved in creating oil paintings. And I work on multiple pieces at once. These are smaller pieces so that I can access them and adjust them. As you can see what I've done today, I maneuvered them around as I was painting so that I can share this time with you guys. But also this is how I have been working on these smaller pieces, and as they're drying, I'm working on some new ones. So I've had these pieces cut out, like the smaller boards. I'll just show you. So this was one of the ones I did today as well, a little bit there. I've had these smaller canvases and different pieces of substrates for a while, and all of these I can use to paint on. I started with this one with oil paint. I'm not finished it. I'm going to change what this is. But I'm really enjoying being able to make it accessible to myself. This is like a little coaster piece that I've done that's kind of like landscape looking, but I'm going to paint something over that and frame that as well. So different sizes of templates to paint on, different abstracted backgrounds that I've worked on in the past, and I am just going to create them into little oil pieces. And this is the fun way that I'm making it accessible to myself, something I can carry around. And I'm hoping as well that even if I travel, I can actually be able to carry oil paint with me wherever I go. I need to figure out how I can make it more and more accessible to myself. So yeah, I'll see you guys in the next video. As I said, I've been creating these and videos and putting them on my channel on Sundays, but please do let me know if you want any other kinds of videos, if you want me to discuss other topics. I will keep playing around with how I film these and adjusting myself so that I want it to be more accessible, easier for you to understand what it is that I'm doing, and also to show you how I go about the process, fitting it in with my schedule. I'm trying to make things easier for myself, not harder. So different things, like the way that I store my what do I call them, fabrics that I clean my brushes on. So you can see how dirty this one is, cut off fabric, and it's because I have it in the tin, biscuit tin, and I have the cover and I can cover it because I've heard so many different stories about combustible fabrics when you're using cleaning mediums. So you can cover that. I think that makes a difference. You're supposed to have maybe a tin, some kind of metal container to put these in and then get rid of them in a correct way. So I've got that there that I can do this with. Also, I am cleaning my brushes with an odorless cleaner. I'm just going to get it. It's over there so I can show you which one I'm using. So this is what I am using as my cleaning medium for my oil paint, citrus free solvent. Let's see, is it Zest It? That is what it's called. It's saying non-flammable, non-toxic, citrus-free solvent, and alternative to terps. That is what it's called. So yeah, this is what I've been using to clean my oil paint. And so I still kind of put that in the tin just because I'm trying to train myself to be specific about that. The oil paints themselves, I have been hearing or reading or seeing on YouTube that it isn't necessarily, I mean, depending on the pigments, but these days things are slightly adjustable, but not necessarily the issue. It's more the solvents. So I'm just trying to make it easy for myself and have it in a way that it's easier to clean up. Yeah, those are the main things. Making sure that I've got my apron on. I mean, I am wearing a white top today. I've got my sleeves rolled up so that I don't get any paint on my sleeves, and I'm trying to be relaxed in how I do it and share that with you guys here on the channel. So, and then having this just here to clean it up. I don't have a cover for my tin because this is something I bought a while ago, this cleaning system, where you can just do this with your brush. You can use this for acrylics or for oil paint, but oil paint is what I think is the criteria. Well, you can use it for both actually, because you wash your brush in the top part, so the liquid is all the way over this line, but there is like a grid, kind of a porous hole system in this separate part, and then you can hang your brushes up on these little rungs here and let them drip dry, so you can hook it up like that. So there's many things it does, but you have to be so careful because it could still spill Well, there's a lot involved. But anyway, I'm trying to figure out how to make it easy for myself to be able to clean up after myself and then to paint as well. So all the things that used to limit me when it came to oil painting, I am trying to take them a step at a time and to cover those bases so that I can spend time creating. And I'm enjoying myself so much. And yeah, it's a lot of fun. So I will see you guys next week. Please do subscribe if you haven't already. You know where I am here on my channel, Be Creative TV, and I encourage you to find your creative way of existing. And I don't know if I would call these tutorials. I mean, let me know. Do I have a right to call these tutorials? I am sitting here sharing with you guys what I'm doing in my studio and how I'm going back about creating my artwork, but also I am showing you a process. I am showing you how I do things, and hopefully if you've not done this before, you are learning something, or you can share something with me in the comments and help me to get better at my craft. So yeah, that's all I'm here for, just to share. I don't want to keep this to myself. I'm having too much fun and I want you guys to have fun as well. So that's why I'm sharing. But thank you so much, and I will see you. I will finally go. I feel like I've said goodbye so many times. I think I do this every single time because I suddenly think of something else to talk about, which I'm doing again. Bye bye. See you next week. Bye bye.